Great evening, Bulls Nation. Welcome. We got a special guest joining us this evening. Welcome to C Red Radio, brought to you by Barroom Network, where we're going to break down our love for the Chicago Bulls. I was about to say Bears because I got just the feels in my mind. But Bulls Nation, we got a special guest, J.E. Let's go ahead and introduce the princess. That's my heart right there.
Bulls Nation, what's going on, man? We got a special guest tonight. This is my second daughter, Journey. Say hi. She just woke up from her nap, and her mother's not home yet, so she's about to talk about some Chicago Bulls basketball too. Ain't that right? Yeah. And we here.
Let's get it. So going into it, family, thank you all for joining us this evening. The Bulls still have a chance. At the end of the day, we have that Rocky Balboa mentality, and we got to punch this chance. Jay, it's not over yet. The Wizards meet the Wizards to lose, which is gonna be tough, but they don't have Beal the rest of the way.
Yeah,
the Bulls went out.
Is it
hamstring? Correct.
All right, cool. Not cool, but
right.
Never wish injury on anybody. I'm just saying it means we have a fighting chance.
Right.
Speedy recovery.
So you remember Dumb and Dumber, right? So you remember Dumb and Dumber, right? So you're telling me we still got a chance. That's the Bulls right now. Yeah. At the end of the day, I feel like we've won 3 of the last 4 games. We had a night. We haven't won 4 games in a row, like 4 games in a row since like 2017 or something like that. But the Nets were a powerhouse. At the end of the day, I didn't see maximum effort from all the supporting cast. Zach tried to do everything for us to pull us in there. We actually went on the 13-3 run in the fourth quarter against the Nets. But at the end of the day, we have a shot during the winning streak. We actually beat 2 teams that are high playoff contenders already. And so the fact that taking out the Celtics and beating up on Charlotte, you know what I'm saying? We've already shown that we can belong. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we're going to need consistency from players other than Zach. But at this point right now, we need help from the other side. We still have a chance. What's the likelihood on controlling our own destiny and beating Toronto tonight? And then we got to play the Nets again. And then we finish the season in Milwaukee.
I'm going to tell you like I told you last week. We can win every game. We literally win every game. I said this last week, and I was like, nah, we can win out. Because even then, it was like that the last game got away from us. You know, like I feel like if it was more time, we would have came back. You know, or like everybody needs more time. But like, we got Toronto. I don't see why we can't beat them. We got the Nets. I don't see why we can't beat them. You know, Milwaukee is division rival, whatever. So records don't even matter at that point, whatever. That's gonna be a playoff game, no matter what time of year it is. So in my mind, I think we can still win out. So I mean, our fate's not completely in our hands, but I fully believe we are more than capable of doing our part to get in. And if not, like I said, and if we don't make it in, at least showing everybody, whatever, who may have eyes on Chicago, that like, hey, when these teams get a few more pieces, I don't want to jump the gun, but especially after reading the reports that Zach was like, hey, you don't gotta max me out if you're gonna give me some help. You know, I mean, I might be talking about that a little later, or whatever, but I saw it and I smiled and I was like, he's here. He gets it. He's here for the long haul. Look. After I heard that, whatever. Shouts out to Joe. So, but after I heard that, I was good, man. I'm like, I'm excited to see what we're doing, whatever. But like a lot of people counted us out this last 6 or 7 game stretch, and I'm like, we're fully capable of winning every game. I think. I mean, and maybe it's my denial as a Bulls fan, or my just the athlete in me. I don't never go set no game tomorrow. We're gonna lose. We're going to lose whatever. Right? I feel like in the illustrious words of the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan, and he never lost a game. He did run out of time. That's how I feel. I feel like we just, time is not on our side right now, but it does not control our destiny if we go in and we handle business.
Facts. Real quick, shout out to everybody in the chat. I saw my man Santiago out there. Much of love. A shout out to my man Joey Mandel. Catch him on South Burbs Hitman. Him and my man Chris, they tearing it up with everything White Sox related. Everything White Sox. Shout out to the fellas. But Jay, you making great points. We can win. Yes. We can win. We shown that. We came and we smacked when Zach came back. When I saw how we played a complete game against the Celtics, I'm like, wait a second. You talking about I heard big three talk. They included Kobe White into a big three because he has been balling like that. And that was some of the things that we found out when Zach was gone. Other players had to step up. Kobe understanding like, yo, this is my shot. You know what I'm saying? Like Eminem. Like, let me at least put myself in the best position where I show them that I can at least hold this position down. That
Exactly.
when we go out into the offseason, let me make it tough on them that at least I can get, at least at the end of the day, we know what Kobe White is doing. He's increasing his market value because his mindset, if the Bulls ain't going to start me, I'm going to make sure somebody else going to start me.
But that's
And
the
that
thing, though, whatever, is you want to eliminate being expendable. And so it's like now what happened, like what we talked about before too, whatever. I said what's gonna put Kobe White and Laurie on the trade on chopping block. Santiago, he gonna be a little later. He running behind, but he gonna be here, Santiago.
he's coming in by helicopter.
Well, yeah, he Hollywood. He getting flown in on the
He's like he's VIP. That's the
a little bit.
That's the Diddy.
But it was to put them on the chopping block is just a simple fact. Whatever it was like, you know, how useful are you when we are full, when the clip is full? We know how well you're not strengthening your case by playing well when we don't have Zach and Vooch. It's how well you complement them because clearly that's the direction we're going in. So we would love to have you because you're familiar with the culture here. You know these players, but if not, like I mean, look, I want them here. If they play the way they played when we didn't have them, then there's no reason why we're not successful. But at the same time, it's like, you know, look, you're playing either for this jersey or a jersey somewhere where weather you might not like next season. That choice is completely up to you, but you got to continue showing up because, like I say, it's like getting honor roll. We're both parents. When you get if Trinity gets honor roll and then the next quarter she coming with all C's, you're like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You proved to me whatever that there's a level so that you created the expectation. You set it for yourself. So you can't set that bar and then not meet or exceed it because then I'm looking at you and well, you're not performing well, and then the circumstances for you have improved. Where it's not like you're overexerted because you're like, you know, you have the support to be successful. So if you're not successful, we gotta start exploring other options, especially if we're finding out that it's a repeat pattern. So if you go back into that slump, not as Zach and Vooch are back, that's more telling to the front office saying, all right, well, this guy only has it when it's on his own. So it's two things. He's playing hero ball and he only wants to shine when he's the star, or two, he's too relaxed on the talent, meaning that he feel like he doesn't have to produce when somebody's out there. I don't know that to be true about Kobe. So we'll see how the rest of the season shakes out.
And this is what go tell your neighbors, go knock on the doors. The Chicago Bulls, we are excited about them. All right. This team right now, I am truly excited about you because you should be able to feel the stampede coming because the rest of the NBA is on notice. These games, Kevin Durant, they put Kevin Durant on Zach the other night, Jay. They had because Zach was heating up in the way that KD had to check him, and then he still scores sometimes and everything. And so like this is a team I'm about to say I'm very bullish. I'm very bullish on this team, and let's go figure. That makes sense. But because the fact of the matter is, the stock that's coming. This is a rising stock, ladies and gentlemen. 3-1 of the return since the Arsenals came back healthy, and we have a bench playing high. I feel like the coaching staff is getting people in a position to succeed. However, like I said, Jay, we need consistency from the supporting cast. We can't have guys taking nights off, scoring single digits and everything. We are at our best when you have close to the starting five all in double digits. But most importantly, because even Vooch makes some tough baskets and everything. But we're not gonna harp into that too much because you all are seeing the same thing that we saw. But more importantly, what you were just talking about, Josh, why are we excited? And you were definitely brought up something I'm definitely excited about because what I want to talk about and discuss with you is Zach being selfless. You heard the same thing that I heard. He said, I'm heard that he wasn't looking for a max deal that would allow the Bulls to entertain another contract, another high contract. But you said that. I want to say, how does that make you feel? And how exciting is that he given the front office to go out there and seek that other person?
I mean, I was just talking to my father-in-law about this. It's exciting because this isn't the generation or the era where everybody's all in. It's the paper chase. And so a lot of people are taking supermaxes to lose the rest of their career. And you would think it looks like Zach is took note of like the Carmelo Anthony's and their legacies. But Melo's are going to be a Hall of Famer, top 10 scorer all time. But he didn't wait a year to go to Miami. Took the 100+ million from New York, which is like unprecedented at the time. And so he's Melo will never have to work another day in his life, but he'll have that asterisk on his career in some people's eyes because he could have won. He never teamed up with anybody, but he could have won. So for the fact that Zach is saying here, he can see the forest for the trees. He can see the end game. A lot of people can't see past their nose. So I recommend him to be like a young man, because he's 26, right? To be that young with that kind of focus to say, hey, I believe in my coach. I believe what we're trying to do here. And he sees himself as like, there's no point in me waiting around and taking a supermax and then I'm paid. And then because then you have to answer the back half of your career. Well, you took all that money and you didn't produce. They couldn't build around you because of your greed. And granted, that's not your greed because they're offering you the money. You can negotiate, accept, or turn down, but it's really on you. But for the fact you're like, you know what? We are in dire need of a few more pieces to make this vehicle actually push forward and on the road to the championship. So it's like, why not? It'd be his third deal. His rookie deal wasn't much, but he got 78 million out of the last one, whatever. So he's not hurting for money, but it's for the fact that he can make so much more. And he's like, I'd rather win. That's not a characteristic you see in today's NBA superstars. A lot of them are chasing the dollar, and when it's all said and done, when they got their money, when I can't rely on my talent as much anymore, let me go team up with somebody so I can skate to a ring. That's the demographic in today's era. He's like, nah, I want to compete. But you could see that in him now. He was mad and posting on Twitter about the protocol being stupid because he wants to play. So when he sees that, I think that makes us a more valuable market now because it's like, look, this dude easily supermax. He all-star last year. He all-star, so he easily supermax player now, whatever. But he's willing to like, hey, I'm willing to not take this money if you want to come here and help me bring a championship back to the United Center. I'm all in. That made me love him that much more. I'm super excited because all that's going to do is boost the morale of our front office, of our entire organization, because not everybody's going to be like, yo, the kid wants to win. The kid wants to win. At the end of the day, that's what you want. If you win or lose or draw, as long as you know your guy for your team wants to win, you can't ask him more than that, whatever, because if he goes out there and lays it on the line, and right now he's laying his wallet on the line, he's like, don't pay me, pay somebody to come help me so we can actually get this done. And so I'm in love with that. I'm all for that. I'm curious to who they're able to get off free agency alone and then who they sign and whatever valuable piece we can get. We get a third piece, it's a wrap. We get a third piece, it's a wrap. We get two. We get a solid, reliable role player, and then another star or somebody less than a star. We're good. We just need somebody that can handle the ball, facilitate, or somebody that can take off some of the scoring load off of him, whatever. So when he still has 27, we got somebody else that can give us 19 to 23, and we're good. Right. We do that. We get a player like that. We win it by 10 every game.
And so, and this is actually you're taking me right into the next topic, brother, with this talk, because what that does, if he does that, first of all, I believe that makes him less of a trade bait if he doesn't produce. You know, so he's not this overplayed player that now we got to move him and get some younger talent. But he says that he does that, allows the Bulls to focus. And I believe KC Johnson, some people have reported it, that the Bulls looking at Beal as an option for the Chicago Bulls, as he next year will be the last year to go to the last year of his deal. And so how does that work with Beal and Zach playing together? Is that a 2-3 combination? Is that a 2-3 combination? Because I don't want Beal if that means we need Zach, because I'd rather have Zach. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, to tell you the truth, Bradley Beal is dope and everything, but I feel like Bradley Beal is in Disney World right now. I feel like playing with Russell Westbrook, we'll talk about him a little bit later too. He's never had a teammate like Russell Westbrook before. And so and I think he's truly enjoying what Washington can do. But the Bulls can make him a trade target next year. That could be that could be a target. But I don't know. I feel like Washington is doing some special things that they haven't been able to do in a while also. But Bradley Beal, he would be an option.
I mean, I think that would be amazing if we could acquire both. But again, Bradley Beal, even with the industry, even with the injuries, he's gonna want top dollar, and I don't know if we can afford him and keep Zach. And if that's the case, I'm gonna roll with my guy that commits to my franchise. No disrespect to Bradley Beal because he has nothing to do with this, but I wouldn't want them to trade for Bradley Beal when Zach hasn't proven that he can't get it done. He just needs help, but who does it? So that's not a charge to his character or his inability to get the job. That has nothing to do with that. He literally just doesn't have help. Bradley Beal has help, but Bradley Beal also had John Wall. They had the year they made that run in the playoffs, and Paul Pierce hit the shot. So Bradley Beal's had help. And so I personally, I don't want a guy that's coming from somewhere else expecting something, and then it's not like it'd be different if he made it to the promised land because then he has that experience. He doesn't have that much more experience than Zach LaVine. If anything else, they're one and the same. They're scoring machines that have been slided from all-stars most of their careers when they've been deserving of it. So it's like, why swap out a guy that we know is here, looks good in the jersey, minimal injuries, is going to intensity killer for a guy who's been suffering from. I mean, the Wizards have been injury riddled for like the past 4 or 5 years. Between him and Wall never really got a chance to play side by side because one of them was always hurt. And when they did, they were successful. So that's why I would be excited if he was a compliment, But I mean, I'm not paying top dollar to swap them out.
Yeah, not to swap them out, but how cool would it be to have them both?
It'd be amazing. We'd be a contender. We'd be a contender. You said Bradley go to any
then you add in Derrick Rose.
Contender.
So then let's just play fantasy basketball for a second. Derrick Rose, Bill, Zach, Vooch. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, focus. That's fantasy land. But that would be dope. It's fantasy land, but it's actually not that far off because we're talking about free agents. He'll be a free agent after next year. So this is actually
and reports just came out that New York's looking at Kyle Lowry. So if New York's looking at Kyle Lowry, then they're not going to have Lowry and Rose on the same team. So which means that it's almost like Rose is going to be like, God, I came and did what I need to do. I'm going to go home. We don't know. We shall see after this season wraps up. But I'm curious to see how it plays out.
But I mean, bro, I love how we just hitting this right on the head because it goes into what I was going to next. Is Rose to Chicago? Do we have more appreciation for Rose now? I mean, we loved him. I know we loved him and everything. And I feel like you go through the bad to appreciate the good. But Chicago fans, knowing what we haven't had at that point guard position since Rose left, like you know what I'm saying, the grass isn't always greener. How much more is he appreciated now than he was before?
As much as I hate to say this, it's like it shouldn't have took this though. It shouldn't have took this, because there's two. Look, how I get into how I felt about my boy, but it's two different types of Chicago sports fans. There's Chicago sports fans that are from Chicago that I was just talking. You don't turn your back on the city, all right? So Derrick Rose is from Chicago. I'm from Chicago. I'm always riding with Derrick Rose. This is how it is. I've been that way ever since I seen him dismantle Oak Hill by himself and on ESPN, and he was in high school. I'm like, yep, that's my guy. I don't really care, And so I'm never going to turn my back on him. But there's a lot of people in the city that did turn their back on him. A lot of that was spawned by the media saying that he was overpaid, he was overhyped, he was overrated, and all these things. So understand that, like, if you watch the Pooh documentary, he speaks on it, whatever. It was like, look. Yeah, everybody loves me, but because the people love me, he's a legend. He to go to the crib, in my opinion, because I don't think there's been a player that successful that done what he done from Chicago. And I'm not talking about like Zeke and winning the title with the Pistons. I'm talking about being here, being MVP, coming home and taking the team and being in a series from the finals. No one from Chicago has done that. And so, you've had successful players from Chicago go off and win titles, but none of them have done it here. And every kid from Chicago's dream is to do that in the red and black. And so he came the closest. he doesn't have anything to prove anymore. But I think his appreciation came when you saw him succeeding somewhere else. You know, it's like a relationship, especially a toxic one. It's like, you know, you like when you see when you're in a situation that doesn't work anymore, and then your ex you know, girlfriend or boyfriend, you know, start working out, start looking a little nicer. You see him doing well, got a better job, nicer car. You be like, damn, we really had something special, girl. You know, that's how that shit works, you know. And so like that's kind of what's happening right now. He's not evolved into some like higher end player. All he did was adapt to today's game so he could still be efficient and make a roster. He's still, like I said, he's still averaging almost the numbers he was averaging when he was the third string on the Knicks behind Unicorn and Melo. And he's doing that with half the time. I got you. You look, so y'all look, and my daughter is not feeling the Derrick Rose hate. We don't know Derrick Rose slander around us. And so, but to my point, whatever, he is appreciated now, but it shouldn't have took him going somewhere else and being successful to do that, whatever, because he, in the eyes of real Chicago sports fans, he's always been that guy.
Facts, big facts, and everybody in the chat is saying with someone to agree. And we do have that trade chip, and Larry, I believe, but also I believe the Knicks, Derrick Rose is going to the playoffs, y'all, and so his stock is about to rise because, well, he's in the play-in or whatever, but he's got the world is about to see his talent on a national stage even more again, and so even from that backup position, like he's still averaging double digits. You see what I'm saying? And so like I'm getting excited just thinking about it. Like, yo, Chicago, C-Red Radio, we are for our current Chicago Bulls, but understand this is the station where Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time, and we will never, ever give up on Derrick Rose. All right? Y'all can tweet all you want, but not on C-Red Radio, baby. Derrick Rose is the man here, and we ain't listening to nothing else. we didn't see too much. You know what I'm saying? We didn't kick it with him. You know what I'm saying? He didn't show us too much love. He didn't give us 30 minutes out of his life, and that was more than appreciated because my man had the team bus waiting. And so a man willing to do that for some fans out in DC, that was really truly dope. But Josh, man, I was wanting to talk about the Knicks making it to the playoffs. Derrick Rose's stock is going to increase.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make him, I want to say, more attractive? But are the Chicago also making the Bulls more aware? But it's going to be a lot of teams aware. The Lakers, Clippers. It's going to be other teams fighting for this guy. I like to get a guy cheap. I like to get a guy when everybody's not fighting for him. I want Rose to get paid to get his due and everything. But I want to give him big up. First of all, shout out to Tibbs. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get props. That's Tibbs, Taj, and Rose going to the playoffs. At the end of the day.
Again, Tibbs, Taj, and Rose went to the playoffs in 2018 too. And Jimmy was there too. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, look, we like it's saying a lot, but it's like the guys that got a lot of guys who were like, you know, ran out of town or traded are in a situation we're fighting to be in, you know, or waiting for another team to lose to make it into. And so, I mean, his stock is going to go up, but I don't think that matters to him. The reason why is because LA had a shot at him. Clippers had a shot at him. He for the past 3 seasons, after he came back and scored the 50 burger, he's had an opportunity to chase a ring because he free agents, and the money's not an issue to him. As long as he's on the NBA roster, he getting 17 a mil from Adidas every year, and as long as his shoes sell out in China, he's fine. So money's not. I don't think money is it for him. I think he just wants to. I think he wants to achieve as much as he can with the years that he has left. And so I think that he's come by. For him coming back and doing what he needed to do to get in New York, just like, all right, cool, check. It's proven now that I can help a team with the minimal amount of minutes. And, you know, like I said, it's efficiency. We talked about this before the show. Me and Aldo's efficiency, whatever. It's like he's doing a lot with a little bit. And I'm not talking about talented teams if it's just like he's making his minutes count. You know, the last game we lost or whatever, I think he was the only Nick in double figure. I'm not like we lost. See, that's how much I love him. I still think he's on my team. Like the last game the Knicks lost, I think he was the only one in double figures. So he's proven it is like, look, I can give you a cool 17, 18 off the bench. But if you need the go time fourth quarter, give me the ball. I can score the last 15 points of the game and do damage. So I think he's increased his stock where, you know, this is the last year of his Detroit deal. He got another 7.5 from from them for this year, and now he can go get what he wants. I don't think he's looking for another payday. I think he's looking for the situation that makes sense. I think for him it's more so about usage. Like, am I going to play? I don't want to be a novelty to sell tickets. I don't want to be I want to go somewhere where I can do what I'm doing now. You know, he's accepted that role. And so he does have a real shot later, 6 man of the year. But but people don't realize that for the past 4 or 5 years, he's been front runner, you know, for 6 man of the year or most improved player. Because every year he's continuing to prove whatever. It's like, look, this is a former MVP, but this is also like the 6 or 7 man off on a roster now. That's like he's doing what Lou Williams has been doing all this time, whatever. And any given moment, he can get hot and give you over 25 points a game. But on average, he'll come in the game, he'll give you 15 to 20 points. He'll do it with shooting at close to like 35 to 40% three and close to like 50 or 60% like off field goals. He's not jacking up a lot of shots anymore. So I'm excited to see where he lands. I would love for it to be back with us. I truly believe when it's all said and done, he will find his way back home, and maybe, you know, but I think he's doing this now to prove that he can play, to give him a little bit more power to negotiate during free agency, where he don't got to go he's not looking, well, I'm going to take whatever they give me, because more people are going to need him now. So I'm curious to see where he lands. I hope it's back in the Midwest with us.
Russell Westbrook has tied Oscar Robertson, man.
Yes.
So props to Westbrook. Me and you, Aldo, was talking earlier. Knowing what we know now, Westbrook having this phenomenal career, getting to playoff berth, trying to get Washington to the playoffs, excuse me. Knowing what we know about Derrick Rose's career, balling outrageous, and I want to hear from you guys in the chat too. Knowing what you know now, going back to that draft, who do you draft? Derrick Rose or Russell Westbrook? Josh,
I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say in the chat. For Santiago, it's not a tough question for me.
I mean, no. He's talking about. Santiago's probably saying it from a basketball perspective in terms of you, Josh. You are a GM. You have a family to feed, and I hired you to win basketball games for the, I almost keep saying Bears, for the Bulls. Okay. Yeah. Knowing what you know now, your role is to keep the Chicago Bulls winning, and your draft pick. You're telling I'm the owner, and you know what I'm saying. And so, knowing what you know now, who do you draft? I'm not trying to put you on the hot seat because I'm answering the question too. But Derrick Rose or Westbrook, knowing what you know now about their careers, including injuries, and obviously you see availability.
Cool. If I am a general manager, if I am an owner from Reinsdorf or Krause or whatever you want to call me, from Garpax, whoever it is, I'm going to Inglewood section of Chicago, Illinois, South Side. Kid that's about 6'2", from Simeon Academy, went to Memphis about 6 months. And then we brought him back home. That's what I would do. I would bring that kid back home. I'm riding with Derrick Rose. And now a lot of people may say, hey, this is biased. I broke this down. I probably should have said it for the show. I'm trying to remember what I said. But it was like, if we're bringing it, all bias aside, for the fact that he's the homie and all that other stuff, now I'm talking about from a basketball standpoint. Fight me and argue, debate me, all this when you want. But you know this to be true. Derrick Rose, I think, is a better basketball player. But strip them both of their athletic ability. If we're talking about IQ, pacing, shot selection, getting teammates involved, Derrick Rose is a better basketball player. Now, when this question was presented to me, I flipped it trying to play devil's advocate, saying, if the roles were reversed and Derrick Rose never got hurt, and Russell Westbrook did, is Russell Westbrook as good as Derrick Rose? The reason why I would say Derrick Rose is because Derrick Rose did more with less. I said he's essentially the MacGyver of the powerful point guards in NBA history. He had less. If Derrick Rose goes against LeBron James in the Miami Heat, and he has Kevin Durant and a James Harden coming off the bench, Derrick Rose doesn't lose. That's just my personal opinion. And, you know, like I said, he's jacked up triple doubles, and that's good for ticket sales and everything. But neither one of his careers at this present point have translated into a championship. And so if I'm a GM and I'm looking at championship, I'm looking at who's done more with less. You know, and it's like now Russell Westbrook also orbital fracture, very similar. They're similar in height, similar in weight. They were pre-injury, they both are very similar athletic wise. Derrick Rose is probably more graceful. I was comparing it apples and oranges. It's like some people like Dominique, some people like Jordan. I compare Derrick Rose to Jordan over Russell Westbrook. Westbrook is just really hard and aggressive. Derrick Rose got a little bit more style and grace to his game. Neither one of them could shoot very well. Couldn't shoot the long ball very well coming in, but it was like more so for immediate impact. There was Derrick Rose and a bunch of like, you know, emerging good and some great players, but no superstars. He came into the team on his back. He never had the luxury. We can't, man. I'm sorry. They did. I would ask the question too. We can't, but he never had the luxury of having a Kevin Durant. And even now Westbrook. Now what I did say to combat that, because not coming back with any potential bias, is that I don't know if Derrick Rose's game changes. If like Russell Westbrook is a freak of nature. He's like Adrian Peterson and all those guys that tear an ACL and come back in an offseason and then start playing at an elite level. That's not normal. So, and that's also wasn't in the cards for Derrick Rose. I don't know if Derrick Rose changes his game if he comes back like Russell Westbrook has, and and he's not plagued with injuries. Russell Westbrook, he's one of the anomalies in sports. That doesn't happen to people. So with D Rose, he had to alter his game. He had to study Kobe. He had to study, the LeBrons and even like the Michaels. It's like, how can you be efficient, and then how can you cement some longevity into your career, especially you've been written off. Well, the thing is, you have to become efficient. Who are you on the floor, and like what type of value and equity do you bring to a team? Well, it's like, all right, I can do X, Y, and Z in the minimum amount of time. Now, if you look at the shot selection, Russell Westbrook is going to shoot like 30 shots a game. Derrick Rose is giving you like 12 to 13. They both can pass the ball, but, and they both develop jump shots over time. But at the end of the game, who do you want taking the game winning shot? Who's proven? Westbrook's hit a couple, but who's proven to hit? Who's hit bigger game winning shots in their career? Knowing what I know now, because that has nothing to do with a back scratcher, two hand dunk. It's like who's gotten closer to the promised land, and and who had the most help, and who was successful, and who wasn't successful, and why weren't they successful? Because you mean to tell me Kevin Durant is one of the greatest players of all time, and you couldn't get it done with him? Look. It took the players that beat them. It took them double teaming him to even get there. So imagine if Derrick Rose got doubled and he could kick it out to. We had Kyle Korver, no disrespect, but Kyle Korver disappeared in the Eastern Conference Finals. During all these 3-point shooters, they disappeared. It was Carlos Boozer. Carlos Boozer was good for that one little jab step. He would always hit the first shot of the game. Like Boozer's about to go off, and then he disappears. And then you got Lou Alding, who was on the downside. Noah, who was doing what Noah does, whatever. But that's not Kevin Durant. Imagine if Derrick Rose could collapse and go to the hole. When they collapsed on him, he could kick it out to KD. Or they were doubling KD, and Rose could just attack the basket the way Westbrook did. So it's like the situation. The personnel was different. One guy had a stacked squad. Now, granted, the OKC and the Bulls teams are completely different, whatever. But if you got Kevin Durant is eclipsing all of Derrick Rose's supporting cast. So in my mind as a GM, I'm going with this kid that I've seen. I'm going with a kid that I know can make it happen. Like, look, I told Aldo, I was like, what a paperclip. He's the MacGyver of this. He made it happen with next to nothing. He can put a team on his back. We've never really seen Westbrook put a team on his back. And that's no disrespect to Westbrook, because that's not how his career was, but he never had to. And when he did, he became a triple-double machine. But how many of those triple-double years resulted in the first-round exit? What happened? Can somebody type in the chat and tell me? And I'm not being funny right now. If tell me what happened in every postseason that Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double. What happened? So it's like, and then he got ridiculed for that, because it was like, is he just padding stats now? Because he's doing this thing, but nothing's happening. It's not translating into a postseason. They're still having the same round exits. When Derrick Rose came back and was crying the 50, and then Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double of damn near that season too. And it's like, and then what happened? Were any of them in the conference finals? No. So you can't really base what a guy's stats off of what another guy. And this is nothing. I love the Brody. This is why I hate this question personally. But if I gotta be a GM, I'm going with this kid.
Bro, take me in. Yeah. All of that. All of that is in Santiago. My man just said it because let's break it down to a simplest form real quick. The Chicago fan base has been starving for something. You know what I'm saying? You brought home a Chicago owned talent. Come on. This was a man that was taking Dwight Howard to the rack. This was a man that was battling, was not scared to go against Dwight Howard. Westbrook wasn't asked to do that. He didn't have to do that. Also, you gotta forget, Josh, they had the 6th man of the year of coming off the bench, who's now a max player superstar in James Harden. So, like, that whole OKC team was built for, one could say they underachieved because it's like they were all together. Most teams try to get a big three together, and they actually just drafted well, kind of like Golden State did once upon a time. But the Bulls, Luol Deng, much love, he was the Iron Man. I mean, he was the Iron Man glue guy for us. You know what I'm saying? But Derrick Rose, he was the finisher. He had to be the finisher. He was the only one that could create his own shot. It was the spirit of this. This is your point guard. You want to know why I like Derrick Rose? Go watch the Memo 1, 2, and 3. Shout out Stacey King. You know what I'm saying? That's all you need to know. Why we will always go with Derrick Rose in these conversations, because he's what he meant to the city of Chicago. Whoo! Like it was dang there. It's bigger than basketball, Josh. I love the 72-inch shirt, bro. But it was bigger than basketball because he actually united the city. It was hard hat and lunch pail. This kid, respectfully at the time, was putting his body on the line. You know what I'm saying? You saw the difference in games played. For Derrick Rose's first 3 years, he only missed three games. He only missed 3 games. When you don't have help, that stuff catches up to you. And when it catch up to you, that's when he had the injuries. That's when he was out. Meniscus there, knee here, coming back. He was battling. Y'all remember the return? Who remembers the return videos? Who remembers Derrick Rose, you know what I'm saying, training on one leg, doing all this stuff? Like, that's a guy who wants to play. You know what I'm saying? And you got a front office that's doing weird stuff. But anyway, to answer the question, is Derrick Rose all the time? And like you said, Josh, it related to the Chicago Bulls being a top 2 seed in the NBA back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
More with less. Being the number 1 seed, number 2 seed in the East. LeBron James, one of the best generational talents in the world, like Larry just said, had to check Derrick Rose.
Yeah. Right. We win 62-20 without Kevin Durant.
Oh man.
And just for the fact that, like, I was fortunate enough to come home for All-Star Weekend when it was in Chicago. And I was there at the Macy's where he did his book signing. And I saw how the city, you know, and honestly, there has not been a player that beloved in Chicago basketball since Michael Jordan. Like, it was shut down. Couldn't nobody get anywhere, do this and that. And I was just up at top, like, kind of away from me, just taking pictures and smiling. And I was like, look, through it all, everybody still loves this kid. Everybody still loves this kid, whatever. So from a GM, if I'm not even thinking about talent, it's like they bring a hometown hero. You know, he was a couple missed free throws and with 5 points from a college title against Kansas. I still can't really stand Mario Chalmers for that. But Chris Douglas-Roberts should have hit them free throws too. But it was like, you know, Mr. Basketball in Illinois, city titles, come home, you know, Eastern Conference Finals, youngest MVP ever. All these things that have happened or whatever, it was to the point that it's just like it was good for business anyway, just for ticket sales alone. You know, so if I'm thinking about a GM, I'm thinking about a guy that can help me win. And I'm also thinking, like my father would always say, we're gonna get some butts in the stands. How we gonna get some people here? People are coming to come see this kid play. So as a GM, that's who I'm rolling with. There's no disrespect to Russell Westbrook, but if I'm here, I'm from here, and I know what this city needs, and we got a kid that represents that from here. It's dumb not to go. I told everybody if we'd have drafted Michael Beasley, I was gonna be a Miami Heat fan when the Miami Heat fans took Derrick Rose. I was like, if we don't get this kid from our own backyard who can change the face of our franchise, and we go with Michael Beasley, I told my roommate at the time, who's from Chicago too. He's from Waukegan area. But he loves D Wade, so he was a Heat fan. He hated the Bulls organization for how everything played out with the dynasty, and he was like, "Come on, I got your Heat jersey ready." And I was like, "Dude, if they don't do this, I'm done. I am done. That's just done." But history did what it was supposed to do, which is why we're having a conversation about what he meant to our franchise. So we'll never know how I feel or how that Miami jersey feels.
So if you all didn't know, this is Derrick Rose Appreciation Night. that's what's happening on C-Red Radio. But yo, guess what? We got 15 minutes before tip off. Okay, Bulls are playing the Raptors tonight. Bulls are a 10-point favorite. Oh baby. Okay, we got Dice starting. Dice, White, Williams, Vooch, and Levine starting. I like that lineup, Josh. That's a nice core lineup. I mean, I know we're going on my man Rose, and I would love to see Rose in this, but you know what? We got Rose what we got right now. I love Kobe White's playing aggressive. Kobe White, he's not playing scared. He's not playing scared. In my personal opinion, I see Kobe White handling the ball. He was not scared of Kyrie Irving at all. He was like, get off me. Good mid-range shot. I like that. I like seeing that right there. Dice is not afraid to attack the board, attack the baskets and everything. And so this should be an easy win. But obviously, everybody's going to fight. What are the Raptors playing for? They're eliminated. Anyway, they might be trying to steal our hopes and dreams. And I don't care what the Wizards do. We got to control our own destiny.
We still got work to do before we can even worry about where they fall short. And like to your point about Kobe White, I think the biggest thing about him, I think he looked in the mirror and remembered he's 6'5". And I'm like, dude, like go to the rack. Go to the rack. Yeah, you can shoot lights out, but go to the rack. Like we don't appreciate you, Santiago, man. I got some more behaved children, man. She gonna start screaming as soon as it's over with, but they know how to act in front of company. You know, but she's calm because we're talking about Chicago sports right now. If we were sitting here talking about something else or whatever, she'd be hollering, but she wants to hear. This is soothing. This is like lullaby music to her. So talking about Chicago, talking about the Bears, the Bulls, Sox, Cubs, Blackhawks. We talk about Chicago sports whenever my kids are at ease because they go there. It's in their blood as well. Even though they were born in Texas, it's in their blood too. So right now, this is like a lullaby. But man, like I said, he remembers who he is. You know, we'll make some noise. Like I said, I'm not counting the kid out. I'd rather him be here next year. You know, but we'll see. Like again, you know, as well as I think we would be great GMs for the Chicago Bulls, we're not. So we got to figure out and see what it is that they do, and I'm hoping it's the right thing.
And then so we take care of the Raptors tonight, like we should. We should take care of the Raptors. That should technically be some light work. Josh, I got a feeling. We beat the Nets. I got a feeling. I don't know. We beat the Nets.
I do too. The reason why is because who knows? They may not because they've clinched. They might not even be playing everybody. So that it may be that, and the other side of that too. Whatever it was like. I mean, look, we've read your game now. We know how this game ends with y'all. So if we make the proper corrections and adjust, we can put you guys away now. I truly believe that. There is not a game. Look, call me Mr. Chicago Bulls, because there is not a game that we walk into that I don't think we can win. Because I play basketball, I coach basketball, and it's just like 9 times out of 10 when we lose, it's very rare we are just smoked out the house. It's normally like a mistake or something that we've made. I'm more than confident that we can win the rest of these games or any game we play. That's how you're supposed to feel as an athlete. That's how you're supposed to feel as a competitor. That's how you're supposed to feel if you're representing somebody. If you're representing a legacy, a legendary colorway with a legendary name on it, you know, with a classic theme song, you know, the most sampled theme song in hip hop, the most worn apparel from any sports franchise outside of the Cowboys and the Yankees in the fashion world today. I got people now who can't even tell you who Nocioni is, but they got 5 or 6 bull hats to match their J's, whatever. There's a legacy. There's a sense of pride. It's like being it's no different from the Lakers, the Celtics, and then us. You know, you got the East Coast, you got the West Coast, and then you got to come to the middle to see us. And when you come to the middle to see us, whatever, there's a sense of pride when you've been in that United Center. It's a sense of pride when that stampede kicks off. It's a sense of pride when you hear that. And now, it's a sense of pride when you hear that. So when you put that jersey on, you represent that. You got to go out and compete. You got to go. I wish I was 10 years younger. I go try out for the Bulls right now. If I drop this weight and my knee holds up, I still might go try out for the Bulls right now, because that's how proud I would be to represent my city and represent such an iconic historical team. And so I feel like when we step into every single game, you carry that pride on you. You carry that weight on you. Michael Jordan, look in the rafters. Look at those Raptors. You don't see a bunch of Eastern Conference championships like a lot of these other teams where they're just happy to be there. Thanks for our T-shirt for our first round exit. No, we got rings. We got rings. So we're playing to add on to that. We're playing to add on to that. So in my mind, it's like there's no reason why when you put that jersey on and you suit up for tip-off, especially if you are in the house. If you were in the house, you know, like that Michael Jordan that built this house, but he renovated it when he came back from baseball. So when you're in this house, you know, and like this is Michael Jordan's playground. When you in this house, when you step outside, Derrick Rose put that swing set on Michael Jordan's playground and gave us a second win. So it's like when you in this house, you got to come with that intensity. This is like if anybody's ever watched any show on the Barroom Network, this is I am games when it comes to basketball. This is how he get when he starts talking about football. I'm passionate about basketball because I play basketball and play football. But so in my mind, I'm long-winded right now, but I'm saying that to say this is how I get my players jacked up for games. When you put that jersey on, you come to compete. It should not be the thought of losing should not be in your mind. I don't care what happens. And to my point, like I always said before, in the illustrious words of the great Michael Jordan, we don't lose games. We run out of time. Now we just have to start making the time count. So the dubs start translating more and we become who we're supposed to be. But I feel like we're well on our way. Zach not taking the Supermax, or at least not considering it, gonna give us some pieces now where we definitely make the playoffs next year. And the conversation for us next year is not gonna be whether do we make the play or not, whatever. It's like, who are we waiting for? Because we're sitting on the top half of the East, waiting for the playoffs because we've already clinched.
Facts. Big facts. As we get you guys out of here, so you guys can watch our Bulls stampede and take over the UC. Shout out to the homie Brad Briggs. I know he's definitely out there. And so Josh, what can we talk about, bro, in terms of, as we get out of here, man, is taking our skill sets and applying to reality. You have a name. You have a name. Not just J.E. DeVando, but twice the artist. You know what I'm saying? And so like taking your creativity, you make it a reality. You know what I'm saying? You this is something that was on my heart earlier. You have things in your mind and things in your heart, and you put it on paper. You put it onto the court. You know what I'm saying? Like just real quick as we get people out of here, because we just want to send you all home with something real quick. Because you could spend all day thinking about something, but nothing ever happens. And at the end of the day, it comes down to taking action. Action cures fear. Action is always going to move you forward in life. And that applies for many different aspects. And if we apply the tenacity that we focus on sports, and if we apply that to our own lives, life can be really, really fun. We block out negativity and we stay productive because we're outcome focused on the goal that we're trying to get achieved for our short-term and long-term family needs. So Ace, real quick, bro, like creativity to reality, a couple nuggets, in your opinion, what you would do?
Well, the conversations I would have with my father when the Bulls would lose, and I would be upset, and he was like, "You got to put that energy into yourself as well." And so this is what I put into my students. This is what I put into my players and anybody that I end up talking to. I just tell them, I was like, I tell them to repeat after me. I tell them to say EIE. And they say, what's EIE? And I was like, execution is essential. What that means is you got to as a creator, you can sit here, I can get lost I can sit here for 10 hours straight, get lost in my thoughts and my body not move. But after a while, and without action, you can't, you can manifest all day, but you still got to put the work in. You still got to work in. You can sit there and look at soil and say, man, this is make an awesome garden, but the seeds are still in your hand. You have to plant the seed. You have to tend to the garden, and the garden is your purpose. And so what I would that's why it's so cool about that. That's the thing. But I tell my students that it's like, it's about the action. And every time a kid tells me something, what they want to be, Mr. Ellis, this or that, it always sounds good. What are you going to do about it? And the only reason why I say that, it's not in a condescending way, because whenever I would have an idea, that's what my parents would say to me. I said, cool, sounds good. What are you going to do about it? Did you write it down yet? What's your plan? What baby steps are you going to take? Because it doesn't have to be overnight, but what steps are you going to take to make sure that this is a reality? And it's like, because like it's essential. You have to do it. You got to execute. And I learned this because as an artist, I get lost in my thoughts so much. And I know that everything that's happening to me now happens because, I execute. Before I would sit there and, get lost in my thoughts, and then I would be destroyed on the inside when I would see my idea 10 years later done half as good as I saw it. And so I'm just now in a space mentally where I leave no stone unturned. The same passion I have for basketball, I have 10 times that amount of passion for my family. I have 10 times that amount of passion for my passions and my art. I have 10 times the amount of passion when I pour into my students or when I pour into my players. Because I understand now, that one of the gifts that we all have, the biggest blessing you can be is one of somebody else. And sometimes that blessing is not a monetary gift. Sometimes that biggest blessing is information, because information is one of the most valuable things no one can take from you. And a lot of times that information comes in forms of motivation. Some people have the idea, some people have the concept, but they don't have the courage, or they don't know the simple steps to get started. So when you know that and you see it in yourself, it's easy to become a light to shine so everybody can see the light inside themselves. And a lot of that comes from action. Some people are willing to try because they see you try. That's why execution is essential. Sometimes you prove that things are possible. And in my mind, it's like, and I'm not hating, but I'm like, oh, wow, he did that. Let me see if I can do it. Not being a carbon copy what he did, but applying his methods to my madness to manifest my dreams. And once you do that, you'll understand why it's so important. And then once you become that beacon of light, you'll become it from everybody. You'll become that for everybody else.
Amen. Amen. Let the church say amen. That's
that
real
was
talk.
All freestyle too. None of that was written down.
It's all recorded. That was great stuff right there. That was heat, bro. That was great stuff. I got a friend who was also talented, but I mean, real talk, Sandy, real quick, and I'll just let you go real quick before we get up out of here. One thing that an example is always better than an opinion. You see what I'm saying? And so one thing, if your friend saw you going after your talent or whatever you were convicted about, that may be something that they take notice of. But also, as a friend, all you can do is just help to empower. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, give your belief. You know what I'm saying? Hey, sometimes friends want to keep you where you're at. A mentor sees you for who you are and who you can be, and they want to put that person out of you. So, since like, all you can really do, brother, lead them to water. Lead them to water, but don't slow yourself down by doing that, because you got to show them that you're going to go after yours. You see what I'm saying? You slow down to let them know, hey, I believe in you about something. Hey, did you know that? Like, you could come up with creative ways to just be like, hey, you're awesome in this. You know what I'm saying? Let me get your opinion on this. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. But at the end of the day, you going after your convictions, you going after your highest level, that will spark them.
Exactly.
Because especially if you witness, if you know your friend's talent, I'm pretty sure they know yours. You see what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, an example is better than the opinion, but also give that encouragement, give that empowerment. You know what I'm saying? No doubt, bro.
Like definitely, man. It's like the greatest way you can lead is by example. The greatest way you can lead by example, because some people have to see things to believe it, and you can tell them but you also don't want to tell somebody what you see in them before they can see it, because they may not achieve it because their expectation may be too high. What gets people inspired and the confidence to try is when you succeed and they ask you how you did it. Then it's shallow, but they're more willing to follow your steps of the pudding that's already created. The pudding with the proof in it, it looks like it tastes better, not realizing that yours tastes better. The pudding you make tastes better. But when you achieve, they want to be like, well, what did you do? And you tell them, they're willing to apply those steps instead of just saying, well, hey, do this, but there's no proof of you doing it. So it's harder to see. But you're on the right track. I would say you want to inspire somebody, do it first. Do it first.
Do it first, and be a supporting cast. Period. Be a supporting cast. Period, and be there. And so, real quick, as we get out of here, as we get out here for tip off in about 5 minutes, y'all know what time it is. It's been Derrick Rose Appreciation Day, so never forget. And so, never forget what the man paid for us. never forget the blood, sweat, and the tears. My man always, he said, charge it. He charged it to the grind every night. Never forget Derrick Rose. You know what I'm saying? He galloped. Is that LeBron James? Is that LeBron James? Come on.
They couldn't stop him, man. Couldn't stop him.
Come on.
And so you mean it? And look, not to get messy, but you mean to tell me if he was coming down the lane and they collapsed on him like that, and he had KD on the wing to kick it too, we don't smoke everybody.
Come on.
See, Westbrook, now don't be wrong. Westbrook could do that too, but Westbrook didn't have to do that. This had to happen, or we weren't going to win. So imagine having another superstar better than you to take the load off your back, so you can do that. You know, and like, again, like, as a GM, that's why I'm going with that guy, because he didn't have KD. He didn't have KD with him to make LeBron say, we got to double team this guy. We're not gonna make it to Dallas.
It all could have worked out great. They could have tricked Tibbs with a little bit more respect and everything. It all could have worked out. The media tried to play Rose and Jimmy off each other and everything, rather than saying who could finish last or that, instead of just trying to create that duo there. And so, but that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Man, so I appreciate everybody in the chat. Gotta say, appreciate my princess, my baby, my youngest princess, my second baby niece, Journey, making your debut on the network. That's what's up right there. So
knocked out, ain't moved a
lick. And definitely shouting out Game 6. Check out the channel. Definitely with some daily picks for you. Also check out, we got a ton of stuff on the network coming out. Check out Mike North Advantage. That's happening, I believe, every Wednesday. And so between Draft on Tap, Bar Flight, Tailgate, we got plenty of programs coming up on the network and everything. Tip off is not, the season's not over yet. It's not over yet. At the end of the day, don't forget, get your gains in. The link is at the bottom. Not from health and wellness to protein. It's all about injury prevention and muscle repair. So at the end of the day, we are about those gains. You know what I'm saying? In and out the gym. We are about those gains in every aspect of life. And so that's all from now from C-Red Radio, J.E. Real quick, man, sign us off real quick, big dog.
Man, look, it's been a pleasure kicking with you guys. Thank you for allowing my daughter to come. She tapped out, but allowing her to tap in, you know, talk some Bulls basketball with us. Like, guys, it's not over. But my father would always say, we got to finish the fight. And it's over when there's no more games left. When the buzzer sounds off and there's no more basketball to be played, then we can worry about the offseason. Then we can worry about those pieces. And then we can start rebuilding and talking about who we're going to play next year in the playoffs and not making the playoffs. The goals are going to be different. So with that being said, everybody stay blessed. Make sure you tap in and watch the game. I mean, look, we have a bunch of other amazing shows here on this network. Make sure you check them all out. You're guaranteed to get something different, but something dynamic from every single show. And don't fret not, because even though the Bulls season may be coming to an end, who cares? Because guess what? It's never over with Bulls basketball, and we got some more Chicago sports to focus on. Got some young bright stars to come into the city. So we got plenty of Chicago Bears to talk about. You know, baseball is full. Look, there's plenty to be excited about. So you're not gonna, this ain't the last you're gonna see from us in 3 games. C-Red Radio is here to stay. I can talk all day, so I'm gonna give myself the gong. Shouts out to the network for allowing us into your space to be a platform to talk about Chicago Bulls basketball with diehard Chicago Bulls fans, or even casual Bulls fans who, when we're all said and done, you are converted back over to being diehards. That is my goal for us here on this network, for us just to come together and fellowship over a legendary franchise that we love. You see my shirt, you know, look, we had that Warriors talk last week. That's why I had to put this on, because I'm petty. It says 72-10, don't win a thing without a ring. I stand behind that. We are still the greatest basketball team of all time. The 95-96 Chicago Bulls. There's no point in debating me. Just show me the championship trophy from the 73-9 season. With that being said, I am J.E. Devano. This is Journey. That is the Games Report, and we will see you guys next week.